Welcome to a new episode of Francis Reads the Bible. Today we're moving on to Exodus chapter 14. Hope you read 13. So God said to Moses, tell the Israelites turn back and camp in front of Pi-hahiroth between Migdol and the Red Sea near Baal Zephon. The king would think that the Israelites are wandering around in the country and are closed in by the desert, like they have no escape routes. God said, I will make him stubborn and he will pursue you, and my victory over the king and his army will bring me honor. God lets certain things happen sometimes for his glory and for his honor. Then the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. And Moses and his people did what God asked. And when the king of Egypt was told that the people had escaped, and they're like, they changed their minds. What have we done? We have let the Israelites escape and we have lost them as our slaves. All that hard work, all those things, now people that are doing it, people are so lazy. Look at the free laborers we had, and we just let them leave. How are we going to survive? You know. So they stayed lamenting and regretting, they changed their mind over it. Like God said, He was going to make them stubborn, make the king stubborn, and make him pursue the Israelites to bring him honor. So what I've learned from this is that there are certain situations that God will let happen, for his glory and for his honor, for something he wants to achieve in that situation. I'm saying it now because I think I might forget later. So the king got his war chariots and his army ready. Why a war chariot? Remember, these were the Israelites were over, the number was large, hundreds of thousands of men, not counting women and children. So the king got his war chariot and his army ready, and he set out with all his chariots, including the 600 finest. Like this is going to war. When the Israelites see them, they'll be scared, and they'll just surrender, just follow. You know. So the Lord made the king stubborn, and he pursued the Israelites who were living triumphantly. The Israelites were rejoicing, singing, God has done it, oh, something along those lines. And then the Egyptian army with all the horses, chariots, and drivers pursued them and caught up with them. In turn, when the Israelites saw the king and his army marching against them, they were terrified and cried out to the Lord for help. This was exactly what the Egyptian king wanted. He wanted the Israelites to become terrified, like what chariots? Maybe them. I'm not sure they had guns then, like knives, horses, all the equipment, for proper war, like a whole battalion army coming against them with the king at the helm. So they were afraid and they cried out to God for help because there was nothing they could do. Then they said to Moses, weren't there any graves in Egypt? Do you have to bring us out here in the desert to die? Look what you have done by bringing us out of Egypt. Didn't we tell you before we left that this will happen? We told you to leave us alone and let us go on being slaves of the Egyptians. It will be better to be slaves than dead and to die here in the desert. And then Moses answered, don't be afraid. Stand your ground and you see what the Lord will do to save you today. You will never see these Egyptians again. The Lord will fight for you, and all you have to do is keep still. Oh, this is deep. Then the Lord said to Moses, why are you crying out for help? Tell the people to move forward. This speaks to me in so many levels, so many ways. I know what that situation is, Francis, but God will fight for you. All you have to do is keep still and move. That's what God told them. Why are you crying out for help? Tell the people to move forward. Move. Just move. Step out in faith and know that God is fighting for you. And all you have to do is keep still. And by keeping still, don't worry, don't cry, don't rack your brain, don't get depressed over that situation. Just know that God is on the matter. You know, you don't have to be desperate over it. You don't have to, you know, sleep with that lecturer for marks. You don't have to sleep with that man for money. You don't have to soil your hands. You don't have to steal. You don't have to do something you shouldn't do because you need that money, or you need to resolve that situation, or you want to make things better. Just know that God is working on that matter. All you have to do is be still. God is doing the fighting for you. Speaks to me on so many levels. I needed that. I hope you did too. This time I used to use this verse a lot. The Lord will fight for you, and all you have to do is keep still. I should write that down somewhere. It's been a while. The Lord will fight for you, and all you have to do is keep still. The Egyptians you see today, you shall see no more. Egyptians could be that problem, that situation. So in 16, God told Moses, lift up your walking stick, hold it out over the sea. The water will divide, and the Israelites will be able to walk through the sea on dry ground. I will make the Egyptians so stubborn that they will go in after them, and I will gain honor by my victory over the king, his army, his chariots, and his drivers. When I defeat them, the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. Then the angel of God, who had been in front of the army of Israel, remember the cloud, Mhm, moved and went to the rear. So the pillar of cloud also moved. Okay, that's different. So when the angel of God moved, the pillar of cloud also moved until it was between the Egyptians and the Israelites. So the cloud made it dark for the Egyptians, but gave light to the people of Israel. And so the armies could not come near each other all night. Wow. Imagine the same environment, but the person in front can see, the person behind cannot see, even though the light is just in between them. That's a miracle, right? That's God's power. He made where the Egyptians were dark and gave the Israelites who were just in front of them light. You know, God's power is amazing. It's so easy to read the Bible and feel like all these stories are imaginations or novels, things that never happened, but they did happen. So this is God's plan, to defeat the Egyptians and give victory to his people, the Israelites. This is what they call you go look, you no go see me. So the Egyptians could not even see the Israelites, but they knew they were heading somewhere, going somewhere, they're just following. So Moses did what God told him to do, and the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind. It blew all night and turned the sea into dry land. Imagine the Red Sea. I don't know if you've seen a picture. I've not been to that region before, but just imagine a sea, an ocean. It's not a river. It's not. It's not a tiny lake. It's not a stream. A sea, an ocean, going dry, becoming dry land overnight, and the water was divided. And Israelites went through the sea on dry ground with walls of water on both sides. Imagine walls of water, the ocean dividing and falling, forming tall walls of water so you can walk in between the middle. And when you look into the water, you see fish, sharks, dolphins, and the rest of them all trapped, as in they're in that water moving around. You can see them, it's like a see through glass, they're moving in the middle. When you look left, look right, you see the water high almost into the sky, and you see all the animals, the fish, and the creatures in the ocean. So beautiful. So they did that, and just before dawn, so the Egyptians pursued them and went after them into the sea. The Egyptians were also walking on dry land, with all their horses, chariots, and drivers. Then before dawn, God looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud at the Egyptian army, and he threw them into a panic like confusion. He made the wheels of their chariots get stuck, so they moved with great difficulty. You would know that this chariot getting stuck is supernatural. It's not normal. Which was why the Egyptians now said, "The Lord is fighting for the Israelites against us. Let's get out of here." You know, you're looking, you've entered there, and these ones in front of you are moving easily, and you're stuck. And then you see water. When you look left, you look right, you see all the creatures in the in the sea, the tall walls of water, and you'll be so scared. Like, wait, oh, what if this falls in, as in falls on us or something? Like, we can't even move. There's a supernatural force holding us back. So yeah, they were afraid. Excuse me. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Hold out your hand over the sea, and the water will come back over the Egyptians and their chariots and their drivers." I'm sure this was when the Israelites were done crossing. Because remember, these guys were stuck, so they couldn't move, you know. So Moses did what God told him to do, and at daybreak, the water returned to its normal level. The Egyptians tried to escape from the water, but God Himself threw them into the sea because they could have swam, something or something. But God Himself threw them into the sea. The water returned and covered the chariots, the drivers, and all the Egyptian army that had followed the Israelites into the sea. Not one of them was left. I'm not sure the king died, because it wasn't stated there, just the Egyptian army. Now, as a king, you won't go in, you just send your minions, attack, and you stay where you are. Bring them to me. So, King of Egypt, I'm not sure he was in there. But the Israelites walked, in 29, the Israelites walked through the sea on dry ground with walls of water on both sides. Wow. On that day, the Lord saved the people of Israel from the Egyptians, and the Israelites saw them lying dead on the seashore. When the Israelites saw the great power with which the Lord had defeated the Egyptians, they stood in awe of the Lord, and they had faith in the Lord and in his servant Moses. And I've said it in a previous episode, chapter, that sometimes miracles, like miraculous things and whatnot, are important. Like when you go for all these crusades, ministrations and whatnot, they are important because they help in building faith in God, you know, increasing people's faith, increasing their expectations, and belief in God. That's what happened. Um, if I were there, I need no one to tell me that God is good or God is great. Imagine seeing that thing with your two eyes, as in experiencing that life, as in being there and all that's happening. So the people had faith in the Lord and in his servant Moses. Wow. Okay, so summary. Sometimes God does things to for his own glory and honor, to bring honor and glory to his name. God can, yes, he gave humans free will, but sometimes he controls people, like the king of Egypt. He made him stubborn in every situation. He made him pursue after the Israelites again and he drowned them. So God lets certain things control certain things, takes free will away sometimes for his glory, and there's nothing God cannot do. God can fight your battles. This is a note to self without you even having to do anything. It's not a storybook. This happened. Like I said, it's so easy to when you're reading the Bible, like, nice story, nice imagination. And it feels like a fable, a fictional story. And then you forget, oh, this is actually real. It actually did happen. You know, all these places exist and this happened. It was not from the figment of someone's imagination. Not, I wasn't there, but reading this again is built my faith. There's nothing God cannot do. No situation too big that God cannot change. And as always, see you next time and God bless you. Goodbye.